Hey, Mandy,
Hey, Katie.
I found you, and I did not have to squint to find the record button today. I think that's a win.
Always, always.
Yeah. Um, how are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I have well, no, yesterday chopped one off. So I was up to five whole brain cells, I feel like, after spring break. After the break, I was back up to five, but after class yesterday, I'm back down to four.
Okay.
I may have
Well,
lost a half of one today.
listen, you know, you
Yeah.
just do what you got to do to get through.
If I can hover right there at four till the end of the semester, I'll be real excited about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. I'm gonna claim that for you.
We'll see.
We'll claim that for you.
We'll see. We'll see. But I did have a great week last week. Adult spring break, man, it's the best. I went
Good.
away from where all the children were going for spring break. I went to the to Highlands, to the mountains. I was all by my little self, and it was fantastic.
I am so
Um,
glad to hear it.
it was great. Alone time. I worked. I did get a lot done because Holy Week and Easter are coming up, and that's high time for preachers. So I had a lot of extra stuff to do, so I got all the extra done at a lovely cabin. I was staying in Highlands, like in Highlands, at a great hotel that I'll tell you all about in a minute. But my friend has a house up there, and unfortunately, it was under construction, or I could have just stayed there. She said, um, but there was no water, so I had to go back and forth to town, which wasn't far, to use the restroom if I needed to. But her mountain house has this incredible view. So I had the most beautiful view to write and get to look at. And one day it rained and I didn't care because it was still so pretty.
Yeah.
So it was just a great, great thing. And it was just me. Um I have a lot of friends that don't understand why I like to eat by myself or travel by myself, but um, I really think y'all should try it.
I don't know. I think the people who don't understand it, maybe they shouldn't. Oh, although it would be a good, great. Like I think about my sister.
Uh-huh.
And as she's gotten older, she's gotten more introverted a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, but like when we were little, she would like get me out of the bed in the middle of the night. I wanted to sleep by myself. I still want to sleep by myself. She would go and pull me out of bed every night and put
Yeah.
me in bed with her. And my parents
Yeah.
were like, "You have to stop doing that."
Yeah.
Um, and she did it again. And when they said, "Julie, you did it again," she said, "Well, this time it was because a roach was crawling in her room."
Oh,
They
well.
said, "Well, if you were in your bed, how did you know?"
Right.
She was busted. But anyway, the thought of her being on a vacation by herself.
Well, even just start small with just take yourself to dinner.
She could
I
do that.
I have a friend who's fierce, battles things that I'm not sure I can handle medically, family stuff. I mean, just this amazing, strong, beautiful human of a woman. And she's like, I'm not very comfortable eating by myself. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I had a book, I had a glass of wine, and a good plate of food. And every other woman in every restaurant I went to in Highlands was totally jealous because they were with their screaming kids and their annoying husband. And I was just enjoying my life.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think with my sister, it would depend on who her choice of company was. Like if it was me, she would probably never want to be anywhere by herself. It was if it were some other people, she would probably choose
Yeah.
to be by herself.
Well, I did have to learn how to do it through work because I traveled for work. And if I didn't want to eat in the hotel room every night by myself, I had to go out. And so I did. And I found that, if it's a thing where you think everybody's looking at you, nobody's looking at you, nobody
That's it,
cares.
right? It gets back to that whole thing of people are so much more concerned with themselves than they are.
Yes, nobody cares.
Mhm.
And I like to sit at the bar, even if I'm not drinking. If I was working, I didn't. I couldn't be in a rental car with a corporate name on it and have anything to drink. So, but I would still sit at the bar so you could talk to the bartender, talk to your waiter, waitress. The little child that waited on me the first night I was there said, "You were just the nicest person. I've really enjoyed being your waiter tonight." And I was like, first of all, I'm sorry. If I'm the nicest person you've met today, I'm real sorry for you. But yeah, I mean, it was just great. So I think that's my challenge to all my friends that don't do that very often. It's just, it doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't have to go on vacation by yourself if you don't want to, but treat yourself to a nice dinner. I mean, I have lots of friends who are mothers that are like, "Oh, I got to go to the grocery store by myself." It's the same thing,
Right. Right. Except
except
somebody
someone is
else's.
feeding you and you don't
Right.
have to do the dishes.
Right.
So it's okay to be alone.
Mhm.
And it was, I still did a bunch of stuff. I mean, I got a lot of work done. So it's not like I just sat in the hotel room and, twiddled my thumbs the whole week, but um it was really, really nice. And it's a beautiful place up there. I highly recommend Highlands, Cashers, Asheville, that whole area of Western North Carolina is just so beautiful. And even this time of year when the green is not totally out yet, it's just really, really pretty. The other
Good.
thing about going this time of year is there's nobody there,
Yeah.
which means, shopping was easy, parking was easy, restaurants were easy. I mean, it was so nice. So that's why I like to go opposite of where everybody else is. And why I love the beach in the fall usually and the mountains in the springtime. So
Well, good.
yeah, it was great. What I also remembered while I was driving up and back is how much I love to drive on a switchback. Like I was like zooming. I mean,
That's
don't
reasonably specific.
don't tell everybody this. Like, don't make people worry. But um, it was just fun to drive up there in the mountains. I loved it. I feel like I was one of those indie streetcar drivers, and that I've missed my calling. It was almost my Pretty Woman moment. When she goes up to Richard Gere in the car and he can't drive it. And
Yeah.
she gets in
Yeah.
and she's like, "Well, I have little feet, so I can drive these little cars." I'm like, "That's me on the switchbacks in North Carolina."
It's so funny. That's
Yeah,
a randomly specific thing.
I know, right? But when
Mhm.
I thought about it all the way home, I thought, add that to the show notes. So while I was there, I stayed at a place called 200 Main, and it was very reasonably priced. So Highlands is pretty expensive. The houses are all multi-bazillion dollar houses. Um, I parked next to a lot of, very high-end cars, parked my little um um I don't even know what I drive. Altima, whatever it is. I parked it right next to some very expensive cars. So it's not cheap, but 200 Main is extremely affordable and it's an old Edwards Inn property. And Old Edwards is like the big hotel downtown. Same people own it. There is no breakfast, but they do have wine and they have coffee and like a little snack station in the lobby. But what it is like basically just one of those old mountain things that hotels that they turn into a beautiful property. But it doesn't have all the amenities of Old Edwards, but it's literally around the corner. So you're not
Looks
far from
beautiful.
town at all. Yeah, it's really, really nice. So how especially if you've got a bunch of people going or, you don't wanna blow the bank, you just wanna get away for a couple days. It's very affordable and very nice. So 200 Main. And then the shopping, so a lot of them were closed for the season, but up there they have a whole lot of estate jewelry, and I want it noted that this girl who loves an estate piece of jewelry resisted. And I went and nary a one of them because I've got to finish my second year of the Candler School of Theology before I buy myself a piece of jewelry.
Okay. That's
So
good.
I resisted because I knew I'd spend way too much money. But the
Okay.
two places I did go in that I really, really liked were Dutchman's and then the Highlands Mercantile. And it just had cute stuff. I got a lot of cute things. I've got three daughters of friends graduate from high school this year. So I got their gifts. We might need to do a thing on that.
Graduation gift guide.
Yeah, so maybe next month we can look at that. But I got that. I got myself some stuff, just little things. It was nice. So those are my two recommendations. I'm sure there are tons more, but again, it's off season, so a lot of stuff was closed, which was fine. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about the food in my food segment because that's all I ate last week and I had nothing else to give. So I'm going to tell you where to go eat in the food segment. But that was my spring break.
I'm so glad it was good and restorative.
It was great. The other thing that I kept a very close eye on, which is ironic that you were in another part of the world and all our eyes were on Nash Vegas because SEC basketball tournament, which Auburn was a part of, and the first SEC play for baseball for Auburn was against Vandy, and they ended very differently. So
Ugh.
Auburn basketball, and I'm really actually going to credit Mississippi State for this because Mississippi State took out Tennessee early.
Oh, good.
And we know that Auburn's had some struggles with playing Tennessee this year. So we didn't have to worry about them. Mississippi State took care of them, and then we took care of Mississippi State.
Well, there you go.
And we ended up winning the SEC tournament, which
Oh, well,
was
good. See, I didn't even know.
it was fantastic and it
That's
was
nice.
exciting. It was a great game. Um, and we are seated number 4 in our part of the bracket.
Sorry, I hadn't done my bracket. I got to do my brackets.
Yeah, well, I want before we get off this platform, this call, whatever. I don't know where, like, if we can do them together. I don't know if we even want to try that. Whatever. So basketball did great, and I was super
Good.
excited.
Good.
Bruce Pearl, our coach, was weeping. His son
I
is
did
one of the
see something
assistant.
about him crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His son is an assistant coach. And so he went over and whispered something in his son's ear and then immediately started crying.
So nice.
I know. And then Auburn baseball had a very different experience in Nashville. Very, 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 very different. We weren't just swept by Vandy. Y'all run ruled us.
Yeah, we did.
And the thing that I took out of it was well, there were lots of things that I said to my TV about it, but I won't repeat those, even though we are explicit. But y'all have a little kid named Davis. And
Davis
he's
Diaz?
no, his last
RJ
name's
Davis.
Davis.
RJ
Yes.
Davis.
Yeah. He played at my alma mater before he came to Vandy. He was at Sanford. So I was like, ooh, my ears perked up when they said that.
Oh no, that's a different one. That's
C, it starts with a
Jade Davis.
C.
Jaden Davis.
Yes,
Is that
I
right?
think.
Keep going.
But the other thing that he does, and every person that plays softball or baseball for that matter has a little thing they go through when they get up to bat, right? They either wiggle a certain way or swing the bat around a little bit or something. That kid does the Elvis lip every time he gets up to bat, and it brought me such joy.
I can't believe my sister hasn't noticed this yet.
I noticed because he was at bat a lot because y'all batted around 3, 4, 5 times sometimes a game.
I think it's
To
that's
my dismay.
I think it's oh, RJ's RJ Austin. Yeah, no, it's Jaden Davis.
Jaden Davis, there we go. Yep, he was at Sanford, my little alma mater, and then he got up there and he did that little wiggle in the batter's box, and that lip goes up, and I was like, "Oh, it's little Elvis," and I could not be happier.
I can't wait to tell my sister. She's
So
gonna
I'm real
she's the type
excited
of
about
person. She's the
your
type of
baseball
person.
team.
She sent me a text. One I can't even remember because I was working my fanny off, but she sent me
You
a
were.
text and was like, what's he looking for? And I was like, what are you talking about? And it was a clip of a Mississippi State pitcher. It's the weirdest delivery you've ever seen. I'll share the video.
Share
It
it.
was funny. But like my sister notices that there's one
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, I think it was Tyler Beatty, who now is in the majors, or at least minor majors. We still call him Bend and Stretch, thanks
Oh
to
yeah.
his like pre
Yep.
delivery. Like she is always noticing something crazy, so I can't believe she hadn't noticed the Elvis lip. That's all right.
Well, about the only thing that Auburn has to contribute to our conversation about any of this is that our pitcher is contributing to the long hair mustache pitcher theme for from last year.
I'm just so disappointed I didn't get the chance to sit and watch. I watched the end of the game Friday night. I did catch the very end Friday night. And it was a shortened game, as you mentioned, because we run ruled y'all. Um,
Really? You're gonna rub I've already admitted to it. And now you're rubbing it in.
let's just
Okay.
mention it one more time. But yeah, I don't think I watched any of Saturday or Sunday's game, so I hate I missed them. But tell me about your viewing pleasure with the Whistler.
Oh, well, that was the other joy of the game. Was while y'all were batting around and kicking our tail feathers from one side of the field to the other, the Whistler was back. So I am not as used to the Whistler as you are and can tune it out. It was almost insulting because we were losing so badly.
And he's still
And
whistling.
he was still whistling. I was like, really? You got it. I mean, you got
It's
it. Now, there was one of the games, I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. Did it start on Thursday or Friday?
Friday.
Friday. So it was either Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Saturday, where at first, we weren't doing terrible. Like we were
Yeah,
up by a run or
I
whatever.
wasn't watching, but I had it like on my phone and I kept checking the score and y'all were
Yeah.
ahead. And I was like,
And then
oh,
all of a sudden,
yeah.
but
So he was
listening to
quiet. So
that
he was a little
was,
bit quiet during that game,
yes.
wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't whistle when we're not doing well.
Ooh, it was really insulting.
Did I tell y'all last week that my sister told me that he
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 has a
told
crush on her.
yeah, did
Yeah.
I tell y'all
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
I need your sister to get a message to him
Okay, she
that
can.
my heart is hurt and he
She
doesn't need to, he needs to quit rubbing
hurt
it
your
in.
feelings.
Like when you're winning by that much, like it's okay to back off the whistle. It hurt my feelings.
Oh, so when we first noticed him, it was at the SEC tournament, and then Vandy went up. That was the year after they had won the national championship the year before, and they made it back to the like game three of the finals against UVA and lost to UVA in game three. But at the I think it was regionals was sort of the like we had just noticed him at the SEC tournament, and then now they're at regionals, and my friend Garth was at that game. It's like I don't know where he's sitting, but I'll pay you if you will find him and punch his freaking lights out.
Right.
And Garth's the most irreverent human being you'll ever meet. And he says, I just kind of wish he'd have a mild stroke.
Yeah.
That way he couldn't pucker up.
Just no puckering. Could you quit the pucker?
So bad.
So I had a very up and down pain and suffering and then joy and glee kind of Auburn experience, which really tracks. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
who we are anyway.
And sports.
So wow, Nashville was a wild ride.
Well,
So you're welcome. So we helped you.
I'm trying not to say anything about this little team because they are pretty young.
They are very young.
And so you really don't know because they don't have any experience yet, but they have really fired on all cylinders here pretty early. Um, there's some injuries that are concerning. But And it's weird because, pitching has always been, starting with David Price, who's the
Yeah.
number one draft pick. Um, Pitching has always sort of been it at Vandy, and we don't, the last time we won the national championship was Kumar Rocker's freshman year, and it was. I remember I was at the UT game that he pitched at. It was on Sunday, and I think that may have been the first game he started. He was
Mm-hmm.
originally coming out of the bullpen his freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't do great. And then that was the last time that kid did not do great. And he ended up being the MVP of the World Series.
Look at
Like,
that.
he was just freaking nails. He pitched that
Yeah.
no hitter against Duke. Like, it was just, and so, like, I'm used to sort of watching that. And then
Yeah.
Jack Leiter came up, right, the next year. And, Jack throws a no hitter against South Carolina. It's just, so we got kind of used to that sort of dominant pitching. And we haven't had that since they left. And so it's just been interesting.
Until this weekend.
Well,
You're welcome.
Carter Holton, he got hurt last year. He's a kid from Guyton, Georgia.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I know Guyton, Georgia.
yeah, he's from Guyton, and he was our Friday night starter last year and got hurt. And so just it was one of those where he was hurt and we didn't know it, and so he was blowing up, and everybody's like, "What is going on?"
I did wrong. Yeah.
But he's been back. He's been pretty locked in, and so the guys that are doing it are doing well, but it's just not like that dominant
Yeah,
freaking.
yeah, yeah.
So it's just been interesting, but our offense has stepped up, and so that's been fun. So
When do
anyway,
y'all
I'm
play
not excited to miss it.
LSU? That will be a challenge. I feel like that will be your biggest challenge.
I mean, the Aggies are really good.
Yeah.
The Aggies are still like, I think maybe they've lost one, maybe two games.
Yeah.
But yeah, LSU's always a challenge,
Yeah.
always. And Tennessee has been our freaking kryptonite the past 2 or 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, you're welcome.
Thanks. Listen, we're just enjoying the ride.
I was not enjoying the ride, but you're welcome. I did. I think I knew you were busy, but I thought you would enjoy it. Like, I literally was sending her like E5.
You did send me an E5, and I was one of those days where
I
I was
know,
feeling and deveining
but
shrimp.
I
So I
thought you
couldn't
would
do
love to know that I was still giving them out like candy.
it. Yes, you do. That you do.
E5. It was
Yeah.
really an E. I think they gave him the E too, so I felt vindicated. I was like, that
Yeah,
really was an E.
funny.
Well, Mandee, you've
Yeah.
had quite the little adventure since last we spoke. Why don't you
Did
tell
we
us
record
about
on
it?
Tuesday or Wednesday of last week? I don't
We
even remember.
recorded Tuesday of last week.
Yeah, so it's been a minute. Um, yeah, so spring break is in full force. First of all, spring break is in full
Full
force.
force. You gotta love it.
So that's been fun. That's always fun. But I left Friday morning.
Mm.
That when I left, I don't remember. Yeah, I left on
Yeah,
Friday.
because I was
Um,
already up there.
and headed to St. Simon's. Birch's father's funeral was on Saturday. So the original plan was I was going to go and spend the night with our friend Casey, Friday night and Saturday night, and then come home on Sunday. But then when the graveside services were not going to be until Tuesday, and Birch started talking about how she was hosting the family luncheon after the graveside services and like what should she serve, and Casey and I left the group text and we're like, yeah, that's not happening. We're
No,
doing it, right?
right.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that is
so
not how we do it down here in the South. I don't know how they do it everywhere else, but that's not how we do this.
listen, we are now the bereavement committee.
Yep.
Anyway, so we're like, Birch, check that off, we got it, you're good. So anyway, and then once Casey and I decided to do it, we decided to do it. Like, we weren't just, originally we've been talking about like just some casseroles and a salad, and then we're like, nobody eats salad. People want deviled eggs and pimento cheese.
You
Yeah.
have to have good Southern funeral food.
So that's what we ended up going for: squash casserole and green bean casserole and brown rice. Have you had brown rice in your life? And I'm not talking about the grain brown rice. I'm talking about like rice consomme stick of butter rice.
Oh, please. It is my
I met
favorite.
I met two people yesterday, born
Had
and
never,
raised in the South, who had never had it.
so I put mushrooms in mine,
Yes, I did too.
but you don't have to, but it is the best. I
We
love
had it
it.
every Sunday.
I
Maybe I'll
love
share that
that.
next week in my food thing. But like we have
Yeah,
roast
yeah,
and
yeah.
rice every single Sunday. It's one of my favorite foods. It's like a comfort food. And when I
Yes.
was telling Casey about it, when we were working on the menu, I was in Nashville, and so I pulled out some good old cookbooks,
Yeah.
that for Moultrie. And the recipe I took a picture of and sent to Casey. I said, now my mom didn't always use a whole stick of butter every Sunday. It's only on special occasions where we got the whole stick of butter.
Oh, see. Well, I mean, I have used less, but then I'm like, but I don't make it every week. If I made it every week, I would definitely not
Every
use a whole stick of butter every time.
every week.
Yeah.
Um, and then she also the recipe that I sent Casey, it also had like French onion soup in it,
And
and
that's what I
so
use.
we didn't do that. And then I was like, and yeah, she usually also left out the mushrooms because I didn't eat mushrooms at that point
Right.
in my life. And then Worcestershire, yeah, she probably didn't put Worcestershire there anyway. So
I
anyway,
don't, yeah.
I was like, sort of this is the recipe.
It's like it's
Well, don't say
four
it. I'll say it next
ingredients.
week on my
I'm not, but like it's so easy. It's four things. Like
yeah.
it's the easiest thing. It's delicious. I can't wait to share it next week because it's
And
my
it would not have occurred to me to have put it on that buffet, but as we have previously mentioned, I've been to a few parental funeral meals this year, and it has literally been at every one.
and man, I hope you share your whole menu next week when it's your food.
I can do it.
Because when Mandy rattled off all her things, I literally looked at Gogi's portrait and was like, "Aren't you proud?" Like she was that person for her group. Like she did all the food for every funeral, every baby shower. Like that was her thing. I mean, she had, I think I've said it, she had notebooks from every single party she had ever done with every menu, with a copy of the invitation, who the hostesses were, the
So
menu.
great.
And so your construction of that menu was the perfect Southern thing, and I just love it, and I can't wait for you to
That's
share it next week. I'm gonna just sing your praises again because it was just perfect, and
what
Gogi was smiling the whole time.
that's what Casey and I decided to go for. What we decided to go
I
for. And
love
let me
it.
tell you, like I grew up with people like Gogi.
Yeah,
When you host a party, that's what you do. But
yeah,
not everybody in the world is like that. And so you never know when you're going in with somebody. But thank God my friend Casey is the same
yes,
exact way. So we were
yeah.
good. We were mind meld on everything, and everything went off really well. And so, but anyway, so yeah, so I got there Friday, and I had stopped by Trader Joe's on the way in to get all the liquor, because that is the one thing we did differently is we had a bar. Um,
Yeah, Gogi would have had, yeah, she liked a nip, so and so did the bridge group, so they usually had at least wine.
yeah.
They might not have had a full bar, but they would have at least had wine.
Well, we had, beer and wine. Yeah.
Love it.
But so I'd stopped at Trader Joe's to stock up on a bunch of that. So I dropped all that at Birch's house, and Birch was not home yet. She had spent the week with her older son touring colleges, which was the perfect activity.
Love that.
Um, and so but then Casey and I went to dinner.
Where'd you go?
We went, I think it's called The Nest.
Oh, I
It's
haven't been there.
a rather new place. I'll double check and make sure.
Okay.
So we can put it in the notes. But it's a like tapas place,
Oh,
and it
I
was
know I haven't been there on the SSI.
really delicious. It was
Love
very,
that.
so that was fun. And then because my plans had changed, instead of spending the night, 2 nights with Casey, I was then going to be there like 4 nights.
Yeah.
I called my friend or texted my friend Teresa, who is from Moultrie, and then we also work together in DC. You know Teresa.
I'll know Teresa, and I love Teresa.
I said, Teresa, is there a
Dear.
room that you're in? Because she and her husband Jim own a condo. down there, and she was like, "You can have the whole inn. Please go and make yourself at home and whatever you need." And oh my gosh, I love her so much.
I love her.
This is
She's
not
the
like
best.
this is not a rental house, like this is their home.
Yeah.
And so like
Yeah,
people
yeah,
don't
yeah.
go stay there unless
Yeah.
Tracy and Jim are hosting them.
Right.
So for her to say to me, please, yes, absolutely go and do whatever you need to do, was just beyond kind.
That is kind.
And as I was pulling in, Jim actually texted and said, "So it turns out nobody's in our guest house. If you want to stay there, you're welcome to, and you can sleep with Buster." Buster's their German short hair
I was
pointer,
about to say.
whom I love very
I
much.
think maybe that's the dog, but I'm hoping it's not like some guy that works on their property.
So I was real tempted to go and sleep with Buster.
Yeah.
But we decided it would be better for us to have Teresa's kitchen and
Yeah, yeah,
refrigerator,
yeah.
and that was the right call.
Yep.
So anyway, I stayed at Teresa's and Jim's beautiful condo, looking right out on the beach, just so nice. I didn't actually step foot on the beach a single time, but I, looked at it every morning
It
and
was
every
so
night.
pretty.
It
Well, it
was.
was probably overrun with spring breakers, and
It
so
was
you probably
not
didn't want to be out there.
compared to what I am used to.
Really?
Man, it was not. It was full of people enjoying the beach, which you can't really do on 38 anymore, thanks to the
Wow.
silly customary use nonsense.
Wow.
So I was just pleased to look out and see people actually enjoying the beach. It was nice.
I love it.
But no, I did not go out. So Saturday was a funeral, and that was really nice. Birch's dad was the juvenile court judge for 20 years. Had a really interesting life just altogether. I didn't know he had been an FBI agent,
Oh.
right? Uh,
Oh.
Played in the College World Series, did he, for FSU? Yes, he did.
Birch.
Right? I did know that about him, but I did not know he had been an FBI agent.
Look at that.
He was born and raised in St. Simons, so a lot of history there. But he had been the juvenile court judge for like 20 years, and so the three women who spoke were all women who had worked with him. And just to hear their stories was, it was great. And it was good for her
Love
boys to
it.
hear that and
Yeah.
understand that legacy of their grandfather. And then Birch's two boys got up and read
Oh,
scripture.
stop it.
And let me tell you, so James is the older one, and he did great. He read it and read it very well, and, knew it very well. George, the 12-year-old, gets up and is looking up and making eye contact with people in the congregation. Listen, I about fell out. About fell out. He
I
did
would have
so
been
well.
a weepy mess.
That Model UN
Yep. Look at
paid
that.
off. I
Paid
was just
off.
flabbergasted. He did so well. Did
I
so
love
well.
that.
Anyway, and then there was also a reception in the church social hall after that service. And you know what they have in St. Simon's in the church social hall? Fried shrimp.
Stop it.
Sure do. Fried shrimp. I didn't eat anything while we were there, but we just kind of did that thing where you just stand by Birch. So
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
somebody's done talking to her and she needs
Then-
something. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but then Casey and I went to lunch. Our favorite, our lunch place every time I'm in town is we always go to Fiddler's.
Never been there either.
Fiddler's is really good. They have a tuna tartare, which I know is a random thing. And most people, when they're going to
No,
the
I
beach,
love that. I love
they want
that.
to eat like local seafood. But, Casey and I live at the beach, so we're all about the tuna tartare.
Yes, I know. I
So
love that.
good. And mojitos, they have really good mojitos. So Casey and I got our mojito and tuna tartare lunch on. And then I went home and really started cooking in earnest. And
It was a lot of food. If you don't follow Mandy on the Insta, you need to, because you can see the spread and how much work went into that, and how much she and Casey did for Birch. And I know Birch was appreciative.
yeah. So anyway, to that, and then Monday, just more of the same. And then the graveside service was like at 11 yesterday, I think, and it
Yeah.
was Christ Church, so they were back at the house by like 11:30 at the
Yeah.
latest. Yeah. So
Are they Episcopalians or Methodists?
Birch grew up Methodist, but they go to Christ Church now.
Because
And
our service at a graveside Methodist service is about 2.2 minutes long.
the funeral was at the Baptist church. Um, and I will say the, the nice work ladies talked a lot. And
Mm,
I will say this is the first Baptist preacher that I've ever heard when he got up at the end, after the boys had read the scripture and the last sort of thing,
hmm.
he said, "Well, I think we've been here long enough."
A Baptist preacher said that.
Couldn't believe it.
Read the room. I love that. I love his ability to do that.
Right? That's what our friend Amy Edgy said when she walked out. She said, "I want to commend you on your ability to read the room."
Read the room, buddy. I love that. I love it. Good for him.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so yeah, so then had the lunch, and I was originally going to drive back yesterday, but
I'm
it
glad
was
you
just too
didn't.
much.
Yeah.
So I got up early and came back this morning, and then now I will fly to Nashville tomorrow
Nash
night.
Vegas, baby.
Here we come. Yeah. So anyway, that was my week.
Love
I
it.
will say so. When all this started with my mom's health, which was like right after the Super Bowl, I had a hair appointment like I don't know, like that Thursday after she called
Uh-huh.
me on Monday. And so I canceled it because I was supposed to go to Nashville. And it may have been the week after, but anyway, I canceled it because I was supposed to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
I ended up not going to Nashville and going like the next week. Well, that was when I had rescheduled my appointment. Now, mind you, Morgan, who is my hairdresser, whom I love, is on maternity leave. So my appointment has been with the guy who's taking her clients for her while she's on
Mm.
maternity leave. So he doesn't know me from Adam.
Mm.
First interaction we have is like, oh, I had to cancel my appointment with Morgan. Can we reschedule? He got me in, no problem. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I had to cancel that and we rescheduled. We rescheduled for Friday. Well, guess what?
Not
I'm not
happening.
going to be here on Friday. So in the meantime, I had called my sister's hairdresser in Nashville and said, Michelle, is there any way you can fit me in? And she was like, yeah, how about 9:30 on Friday? I'm like, great, that'd be lovely. And I'm talking to my sister today, and we've got a follow-up CT scheduled for my mom on Friday. So I had to cancel my
Oh
Nashville.
my God, Mandy. I thought you were about to say, well, at least we're gonna be up there. I'm gonna be up there for both of those very important things. You had to cancel again?
I may have cut my own bangs on Saturday before the funeral.
I was not gonna ask. I was gonna ask if you were gonna go to the Amish side and just grow your hair out into a long plait down your back.
Listen, so I will say when I canceled the appointment for Friday here, the nice Richard, the nice young man, offered me. He's like, "Well, I can do it, this afternoon." He's like, "I
Yeah.
could do it at 1:30 or 3." I was like, "I'm gonna be driving back." But then I was
Yeah.
like, I could actually make one of those, and plus I knew I had the appointment in Nashville Friday morning, so I was like, "No, no."
Yeah.
Well, then when I canceled that one, I'm like, "Hey, Richard, are either of those still available?" He was like, "No." He said, "But I'll fit you in at 9:30 in the morning." Everybody, please, at 9:30 on Thursday morning will have already happened by the time y'all hear this.
Yes.
But Katie, you please cross your fingers and hold your breath that it actually happens and I can get my hair done tomorrow.
I tell ya. You are gonna be able to plait your hair down your back, like,
I mean,
and drive a buggy before
we're back
long.
to COVID times. I mean,
Yeah,
because it really should have been cut the last time I had it cut, and we didn't trim any of it. So like, it's ridiculous.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
I
But
love
anyway,
it. So, praise be,
yes, please. Yes,
Hail
please.
Mary,
Yes.
full of grace. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll say that little prayer for in the morning.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
It looks like you just added an Olympic moment.
I did. So, right now we're not in the thick of things yet. But I was very excited that they announced the basketball brackets, which to me means we're getting really close. And I'm so excited. So, US, I was listening to Pablo Torre Finds Out, and he was interviewing, this is from a couple days ago. He was interviewing the guy that LeBron James is about to beat his record for the most points scored. It was like 4,000. And the guy was out of Brazil. He's not
Hmm.
American. He's out of Brazil. It's a very interesting interview. And he went through the draft in 84. But they played in the Pan Am games in like 88, 87, 88 and beat the US. And that was the turning point for them to
Right.
drop the rule that said that you had to be an amateur because they didn't want to lose again in basketball. And so the next cycle was when the Dream Team happened.
Have you
And
watched that Dream Team documentary?
yes, it's really interesting. So
Or-
when the basketball thing came out, I thought I would once again promote Pablo Torre Finds Out. Y'all's one of the best sports podcasts out there. I love it. He didn't kill a dream this time, so I was pretty happy about that.
Good. Good.
But then the basketball brackets came up. So definitely go listen to that episode. Maybe you can listen on the plane or sitting in the chair getting your hair done tomorrow. But also get excited because we get to take professionals. And I haven't looked at the women's side. Like, would they take Caitlin? Of course they should take Caitlin. Can they
Yeah.
take Caitlin?
Yeah.
Who's coaching?
There's
Dawn
also there's also
Staley
there's
coach.
also a great women's a great documentary about the women's basketball Olympic basketball team, and it
Yeah.
seems like they do it a little differently, and I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. So you look, we will do all the investigative journalisming for the Olympics, but those two things caught my eye this week, and I thought I would put that in there just as a last minute
They
addition.
Dansby was on Mookie Betts' podcast, and I listened to that on my drive today, and they
Love
were
it.
talking about Dansby's idea because Mookie was talking about how the World Baseball Classic. He said, other than the World Series, the World Baseball Classic is like his favorite thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
And so Dansby was like, "What if we could like?" He said, the All Star break is already 4 days because Dansby was talking about Mallory playing in the World Cup. That's
Yeah.
his wife. She's a soccer player.
Right.
And so they Dancy's like the All Star break's already 4 days. What if once every 4 years that got extended to be 10 days instead of 4 days, and we could actually go play in the Olympics? And Mookie's like, that would be awesome, and it'll never happen.
Never happened. Yeah.
But it
So
could be the thing they start talking about is like if they could work it out, the biggest problem would be the pitchers.
yeah.
And so if they could work it out, it could be sort of like what they did with the World Baseball Classic, where you didn't have any of the preeminent pitchers
Right.
pitching, but you at least had the position players
Yeah.
who were good. And if it were at the All Star break, they'd all be already warmed up and in their prime and ready to go. And wouldn't
Look
that
at
be
that.
fun?
That would be fun. Speaking of baseball, I saw a picture today, and you've been in the car, so I doubt that you've seen it, but they're playing in South Korea.
Like, yeah, they started last night. The
The
season started last night.
the Dodgers are, I think it was for us, it was really, really early in the morning.
2:30 in the
There's
morning.
a great picture of Mookie, Freddie Freeman, and Oshani.
Otani.
Otani, I'm sorry. Otani out there lined up for the national anthem. And Freddie Freeman is jet lagged as pardon me, but jet lagged as hell. And his face is like so over it. It is hilarious. But I thought about you when I saw that today. I was like, oh my
Oh,
gosh. Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah.
but yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Well,
So
that would be
anyway,
so fun. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Maybe by LA.
yeah.
Oh.
Then they wouldn't have to factor in all the travel. Even if they
Come
just did
on.
it once, it would be fun.
I know, right? They need to ask us to figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think they will, but they need to.
I mean, Dansby was on it. He's a pretty smart cat.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he is. He did go to Vandy.
He did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Take her down.
Yeah, I got that text a lot too this weekend, and I was really not all that thrilled about it. Normally, I don't care, it's fine, but this weekend was very insulting. Y'all
Oh,
beat the crap out of us.
listen, it's
And then
Vandy. It's Vandy. Let them have their one
well,
thing.
that's true,
Let them have their one thing.
true.
Oh, tell
Oh,
us about some food, Katie.
yeah, so I, did not do much cooking over spring break, and so I thought I would like we've done before with Macon and with 30A, and I'm gonna add a couple from SSI, down here, but I thought I would tell you where I ate and what I ate in, Highlands.
Please do.
Because if you ever go, these are some really good places, especially this first place, which is where I ate breakfast every single morning. Because 200A or 200 Main does not have any kind of restaurant. I went down to this, it's almost like a small um farm stand. Like there's a bakery, there's a butcher, there's a few like high-end groceries, and then there's
But like a
this
co-op.
no, I think it's and there's a pizza place attached to it as well. It looks like an old A&P. Like there
Okay.
is like a swinging in and outdoor like an old grocery store. But it's called Mountain Fresh Grocery. And there's like a griddle section. There's, a fancy coffee in the middle. Um, I avoided the bakery because, trying to do better. But I did splurge on breakfast. I didn't eat lunch anytime I was up there because I ate so much for breakfast. So the first day there was brioche French toast with stewed apples. And those were the best stewed apples I believe I've ever had.
Okay.
They were so good. There was this cute little couple sitting next to me, and when they brought mine out, the girl literally followed it with her nose and turned around and was like, "That's the best thing I've ever smelled in my life." I was like, no,
And
I
I'm
could
about to eat it.
it was huge, just this huge plate of food. I couldn't eat all of it. I ate as much as my little tummy could handle. They have their own bacon because they have that butcher, so it's peppered bacon, which was divine. The cheese grits were so good, like, everything in there, it was not fancy, it was real simple, but it was delicious.
Good.
And, it was tempting to get those stewed apples every day, but I wanted to try some different stuff. So the next day, I got the eggs and bacon plate. It said 2 eggs, but I swear that was half a dozen eggs that they scrambled with cheese for me. And that pepper bacon again was just delicious. The biscuits were just fluffy and huge. It was divine. And then the last day I had these pancakes that were as big as my face that took up the entire plate with bacon that came with bacon, and they literally had to put the bacon on top of the pancake because there was no more room for it on the plate.
Yum.
And every time it came with this warm, soft butter. I got a thing about warm, soft butter.
Can't beat warm soft
It
butter.
was just amazing. So I
Good.
highly, highly, highly recommend if you're up there at least once, go to Mountain Fresh Grocery for breakfast. Um, the other this next place, well, the next two places were recommended to me by my friend Anne, whose house I got to go and ride at. It's 465 Woodfire Bistro and Bar. It's basically a high-end pizza place, and I had the most divine fig and shaved Brussels sprout white pizza with arugula and Parmesan on top, and he grated the Parmesan on top, and this is the same little kid that said I was nice to him, and he said, "How much do you want?" I said, "I'll just tell you when to stop," and I thought his little arm was gonna fall off because I love cheese, but it was so good. It was so good, and
Yum.
like I said, I took my little and because it was my first night and I wanted to treat myself, I got the tiramisu for dessert, and it had this giant pile of hot fudge sauce on it on the plate with it, and it was just it was so good.
Good.
It was so, so good. Um, so the Stubborn Bull is a newer place up there, and it's like the Nest. It's a tapas bar, and so they had small plate. They did have a few entrees, but they had small plates of veggie, and then they had seafood and land. So I got the calamari, which was divine, and then I got the pork belly, which God, I love a pork belly, and it was more Asian inspired. There were a couple of Asian inspired dishes, but they're opening an Asian version of that. So there'll be the Spanish food, and then they'll have um, an Asian restaurant right down the street, they said. And then that'll be called the Stubborn something else. And then the Stubborn Market coming up, you will be able to go get like a picnic basket and a bottle of wine to go and take on your mountain adventure. So sandwiches and things like that. So it's a whole group of these restaurants.
I wonder
And
who's
then the
stubborn.
what now?
I wonder who was stubborn.
I don't know, but I don't they're great. They can be stubborn all they want. And then, so I had the calamari, the pork belly, and then I had the patatas bravas with this spicy aioli. And
We had some of
potatoes,
those. We had some of those at the
oh my,
nest.
the potatoes were so soft on the inside and crunchy on the outside. It was the perfect combination. I mean, I just, oof. And then, of course, it was the second night I was celebrating, so I had to get dessert there too. And, they had a cheesecake that had goat cheese in it with lemon and, like, this yummy blueberry compote on top,
Yeah.
and the goat cheese in it gave it just enough bite to keep it from being overly sweet, and
Yeah.
it was delicious.
Good.
So delicious. And it's set the whole restaurant is beautiful, it's over this mountain stream, you walk over this bridge from the parking lot over the stream, it's just really pretty, so highly recommend. The last
Awesome.
place I went is actually another, hotel called, the Highlander Mountain House. It's next door basically to where I was staying, but the Ruffed Grouse Tavern, it was the coolest atmosphere. And it was a lot of Irish pub food, and it was getting close to St. Patrick's Day, so they had all these specials of they had a Reuben and a Rachel, which is the smoked turkey version of a Reuben. They had corned beef hash, but what really lit my fire on that menu was the Guinness cake with cream cheese icing and a Jameson caramel sauce.
You sent me a picture of that, I believe.
I did because it was just ooh. So they brought out the warm bread and the soft butter, which got me going, and they put everything bagel seasoning on top of there, so it was just savory enough. It was perfect. And then I got a small plate because I knew I wanted that cake, of beef tips, which I love beef tips, but these were like tossed in a blue cheese fondue. And it was beef tips and mushrooms and this cheese sauce, and it was so flippin' good.
Um,
And then this cake was just this beautiful creation. So I think I put a lot of them on our place where we put pictures, but I'm gonna do a dump on there so y'all can maybe Mandy will put a couple on there so you can see the whole place was just gorgeous. It was like a English hunting lodge kind of feel with all these fun oil paintings of these weird looking ladies and their outfits and stuff. It was just really fun. So, and they even had a dog. They had a that sat at the front desk, a new little puppy. And it was so cute. It was fun.
good.
So
That sounds
those were my
delightful.
restaurants, and I highly recommend all of them.
Sounds delightful.
It was.
Good. Good.
And now I'm back to eating protein.
That's good
It
protein.
is so hard, Mandy.
I know. It is. It is. And the fiber's not easy either.
No. Chia seeds are my friend.
Oh,
Whew. So anyway, I splurged. It was a splurge of a couple days, but it was wonderful and I loved every minute. So
well, good.
There we go.
Glad you had that chance.
Yeah, and then Mandy's will be in the notes too, so thank you for adding those. I can't wait to look at those menus. You know I love a menu, so I can't wait to look.
Yep. Good stuff.
So Mandy, tell us about your favorites.
Well, first off, my favorite is Blooper, the Braves mascot. Just
Oh,
curious. I love Blooper.
love him.
I've been in a love affair with Blooper for several years now. It's sort of ridiculous. When I'm at a game and I see Blooper, you would think I was a 4-year-old. I get so excited. There's Blooper. But specifically this week, Blooper, the Braves got Adam Duvall back. And Adam Duvall has had 2 previous stints with the Braves, including 2021 when we won the World Series.
Yeah.
And he went with the Red Sox. He was with the Red Sox last year.
Yeah.
And the saddest part about Adam Duvall leaving Atlanta was that he took his son Stone with him, because Stone and Blooper have a love
Oh,
affair like you would not believe. There is the cutest video you've ever seen. I'll share it on our Instagram. Of I can't remember if I don't think it was after the World Series. I think maybe it was after we had clinched the NLDS or NLCS. Adam is holding Stone, who at that point was probably 1.5 or 2.
yeah.
And when Stone sees Blooper, he just starts going crazy. He is so
Oh,
excited to see his buddy.
yeah.
And Blooper just takes him and carries him off, and off they go. There are so many cute pictures of like the two of them holding hands walking. It is the cutest thing you have ever seen. And now Stone is coming back. And when they announced that Adam was coming back, Blooper immediately was like, yes, and started posting
Yay.
all these pictures of he with Stone.
I
It's y'all.
love it. I love it. And I added the word Braves because when you put blooper, I thought you meant like TV bloopers. And I
Well,
was
that's
like,
already been one of my favorites before.
well, I wasn't gonna say anything because the spreadsheet just got finished, but I was like, she's already done that.
Yeah, no. Blooper the Braves
I
month. No.
love that. I love it. I love
So I was really excited about that this week. And then the other thing that is my favorite this week is the wine variety of Vino Verde.
Oh,
It has just a little. My favorite summer wine from Trader Joe's is a Pinot Grigio Vivace, and it has a little sparkle to it. And Vino
oh,
Verde is kind of like that. Like it has just a little bit of sparkle.
okay. So
And
hold on, hold on.
Casey and I had a great one at dinner at the Nest, and it
Okay,
was called Broadbent, and it was from Portugal.
okay.
And then Birch's favorite is from Trader Joe's, and it's called Esperol. And I want to say the Esperol is like $5 a bottle. Like it's one of those great
Love it.
cheap Trader Joe wines.
So tell me what
Um,
the other one was. There was Vino Verde, Esperol, and what was the first one that you said that you liked?
Broadbent.
No,
Oh, the
you had that
different
at the
type of
Nest.
wine.
Yeah. No.
My favorite wine, and I can't find it at every Trader Joe's anymore, but they have it's Contandino is the vineyard,
Uh-huh.
which considering it's $6 a bottle, I don't know that it's actually a vineyard, but anyway, Contandino Pinot Grigio Vivace. But you got to get the Vivace. If you just get Contandino Pinot Grigio, that's not it. It's Vivace.
Okay. I'm putting it on my shopping list for next time I go back to Trader Joe's. It's all wine at this point.
There you go.
There'll be
Yeah,
more things on there, but right now it's all wine.
yeah. But anyway, it's
Thank you.
the Vino Verde is just sort of a nice
I
summer
love that.
wine because it's crisp and it has that little sparkle in it. So,
Yep. It's time to switch to white.
yep. Well, I usually drink white because red gives me a headache. But
Oh,
yeah, it's a nice summer wine. So I wanted
love
to
it.
recommend that. And then the last thing is when our friends listen to the podcast and tell us about it.
I know, right? It is just so much fun. It's
And
so much fun.
my friend Elizabeth, I think, gave us the best compliment yesterday. Elizabeth is like, catching up on episodes.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I just love it so much." She was giving us merch ideas because she was
Yeah.
listening to several in a row. And she's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I'll say this every episode multiple times." But then she said, "I just feel like I'm on the phone with y'all, like we're just all hanging out." So that's just the best compliment ever.
It is.
Um,
It
she
is.
also pointed out that I jinxed myself. And she was like, "On February,
Oh
whatever,
god.
whatever, you said that all you were gonna do was stay home." She's like, "I don't think you've been home
Yeah.
anytime since then other than on your birthday."
Don't say it. We do tend to jinx ourselves on here. I completely concur with that. It is so kind and gratifying and really, especially the comment like you said about just being on the phone with us, because that's what we wanted in this, was to give voice to people and um just to lift each other up and do good things and try to spread some love and joy. So that made me so happy. Um Yeah, it also makes me really conscious of, like, that first episode. I think I said the same thing over and over. "We're so fun." I said, "We're so fun," like 5,000 times.
So I told Elizabeth, I was like, "God, it's worse than reading a deposition transcript."
Oh, yeah.
I hated
Yeah.
that back when
I
I
know.
had to take
I know.
depositions. It's like, "Oh, you sound like a
Oh.
ding dong."
Well, I did, so I have now, gone back and cataloged all of these episodes, like I just said, so Mandy won't repeat herself with blooper. And Katie will remember what the heck she's ever said.
I might repeat myself anyway.
I know, right? Me too. But there were 2 episodes on there's 2 versions of the show notes, the ones that we work off of and the ones that go online. And for some reason, for 2 weeks, I had changed the show notes that we work off of. So I had no idea what we really talked about because it's just a summary. And it just happened to be episode 20 and 21. And I had to go back and listen to them to find out what we're talking about. And episode 20 started, and I laughed and stayed embarrassed and read the entire time.
That was the John T
That
episode,
was
right?
the John T. Edge episode. And I just I hadn't listened to it since it came out, and it's just so funny. It's so funny. So if you have not, Elizabeth, I don't know if you've gotten that far, but just hold on to your britches because that thing is crazy.
Oh boy.
Lord.
Lord is right.
It was so fun, but it was also fun to go back and look at how we've added things and how this whole thing has progressed. So I appreciate all of our listeners. I know Mandy does too.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
listen, go follow us on Instagram if you
Yeah.
haven't already, because we're
Yeah.
always chatting it up over there.
Yes, indeed. It's so fun. We're so fun, Mandy. We're so fun.
Listen, I love it.
Listen.
Love it. Listen.
So far our merch is "We're so fun. Listen." These are all on t-shirts. Slow roasted tomatoes and outlaws and sheep thieves.
Just trying to remember what exactly I was looking back through. I love it. I love that so much.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love that so much. I think I say that too. Sorry, Elizabeth.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
well,
I
she sent me just out of the blue. She sends me this text. I love it. I love that so much. And then the next text, and then she like space 2 spaces, and then listen. And I was like, "Have you been kidnapped? What are you talking about?" She's like, "No, I'm listening to you and Katie. Y'all say that all the time."
all the time.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh gosh. So
Listen.
listen. That's probably my favorite list of your favorites because it just encompassed everything. So
Good.
yay.
All right, friends. Well, I hope everybody has a fabulous week.
Yes. We will be in the middle of Holy Week when we come back. So Palm Sunday is Sunday, and then the next Sunday's Easter. Um, if you are so inclined, I do have something every day on my other podcast where all my sermons are. So if you want a little thing to remember during Holy Week, you can go there every day and hear at least the lectionary text for that day.
What's the name of that podcast, Katie?
It's called Grits and the Gospel because there's nothing more than I love in life than a bowl of cheese grits, apparently. I have
Listen.
3 bags of grits in my freezer right now.
Oh, so silly.
So anyway, there we go.
All right, friend. Well, hope it's a good one.
And you have some safe travels
Thanks.
to Nash Vegas and go find the guts that we left on the field where you ripped them out and stomped on them.
Well, my sister would say, "Did you notice that I extended your stay through Sunday because I'm selfish?" I said, "No, I just assumed I was staying through Sunday because you were going to be gone till then." And she's like, "No, I just wanted my sissy for a day so we can have some sissy time. We can go to a baseball game."
Who are y'all playing this weekend?
South Carolina, I think.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I don't even know if we're at home.
I
She
don't.
didn't either, I can promise you. Hold on, I can tell you.
Auburn plays
No, we're at
basketball.
South Carolina. So
Okay.
we're
Oh
gonna have a
well.
baseball game.
No, you can
You
go
better
to the
be changing my
stadium.
flight.
There we go. Auburn plays Yale Friday in the first round. Did that sound ridiculously southern and South
Friday,
Georgia?
Yale.
Yale.
You
We
made
play
Yale. You made
Yale.
Yale 3 syllables
Yale on
on Friday.
on Friday.
You also said something about it's Holy Week. Sunday will be Palm Sunday. You did. You said Sunday will be
Sunday.
Palm Sunday. You made a
Well,
work voice in the midst of,
preacher voice
yeah,
and
yeah,
regular voice.
a total work voice.
Why does it say July? Anyway, so I can't find the ESPN app is betraying me right now, but I don't know who Auburn plays, but basketball we're playing Yale on Friday. So hopefully we make it to the first round.
And people are going to Yale a lot while they're at that game.
Yes, they are.
Well, listen,
Oh,
today is the 10-year anniversary of the day that Mercer beat Duke.
it's been 10 years.
Can
Wow.
you even?
No,
What a
no.
day that was. What
What a
a
day.
day it was.
They're getting a
Oh,
new female basketball coach at Mercer, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
a female basketball coach of the men?
No, no, no. On the women's side, they're getting a new basketball coach.
That's
Sorry. Sorry.
that's
I'm telling
groundbreaking.
you, I'm down to 4.5 brain cells.
Well, I got about 2, so
Yeah. Um,
it's kind of
yes,
listening
there's
through
a
that.
new women's basketball coach or will be.
Mm,
They're always good too. So,
Um,
well, Brooke, we love you. We know you don't listen, but we're going to figure out how to get you to listen. She doesn't understand.
if you did comment on Instagram,
She did. It's like, oh, there she is. Somebody asked her if she's taking that garland down off her door.
she saw a picture of our childhood church and she typed
She
that up.
did, which I have been to more than once. I love that church. It's beautiful.
Designed by an Auburn grad.
Yes.
I started to say
Frank
something
McCall.
already.
I know it's Frank McCall. I've got his book back
There's
here in all
2.
my,
Do
my
you have both of
architecture
them?
books. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I did. Have we met? This good Southern girl has both Frank McCall books. Are you kidding me?
Just want to make sure.
Yep. Mhm.
All right, friend. We love you,
And
Brooklyn.
Birch, we love you, Brooker. We love you, Birch. I'm so glad that Mandy was able to go be there this week, and we can't wait to hear what antics you start getting into now. We love you. Antics.
Antics. Oh,
Birch is always up to something.
I didn't know what I didn't. I thought you said Nantucks. I
Oh
was
no.
like, I don't know what that is. Listen, I
Made
need a
up Twiggs
nap.
County word.
I need a nap. Everybody have a
Yep.
good week.
Have a good week.